Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Topic Time in 2023. Happy New Year. I hope you all had a delightful popping the champagne corks and all that good stuff. We have an awesome show tonight. You guys may remember WATP, who are these podcasts, and they profiled me. Well, I'm interviewing the ringleader here, Kyle Hamburger. It's by Zoom. He's out in Rochester, New York. We're here in beautiful Carver, Massachusetts. But before we get to him, got to read these incredible underwriters, and then we will commence per usual. So we got Carver Jewelers right here in the building. Ronald Darwin, Liley, Delano Goldsmiths. We got Kingston Auto Body in Kingston. We got the Gunrunner LLC in Middleborough, your Second Amendment Freedom Store. We got New England Floorscapes in Middleborough. We got Salon Giovanni in Marshfield. We got Bryant's Auto and Tire Service in Middleborough. Great to have them back. We got Crazy Axes Rec Center in Hanover. We get good old Dave's Automotive in Hanson, right here on Route 58 up the road. We got Rodney's Kitchen in Halifax. We got DNS Auto Works, the collision specialist in Abington, also right here on Route 58. And we got the law offices of Cahalan and Stefani in Brockton, PC, specializing in workman's comp and personal injury law. And I want to thank you guys very much. And now, Kyle Hamburger, how you doing, man?
I am very well. Excited to be on the show with you, Harrison.
I'm excited too. This is quite an honor. You look like you're in the same room you were in that you did the podcast, you know, profiling me, and it was a sweet profile. I really enjoyed you did it. I know Adam Thoreau was a great guest. He's a big fan of the show. He literally snuck that one in behind me because I didn't know he was going to do that he was going to send you all those clips. But I'm so glad he did. When I opened up YouTube, I was opening it up to look for one of my own shows, and then I saw this, and I go, "What is this?" And then I clipped it on, and then I said, "Oh my goodness!" And now we got like just about 10,000 views for that, and I expect it's going to keep going.
That's awesome. It's not just the views on YouTube. We also have an audio podcast with probably 20,000 downloads on that. So you're getting lots of people discovering you, and I'm happy to bring you to the masses, Harrison.
Well, I am too. Okay, yeah. I mean, you're obviously a fan as well, and Adam knew what he was doing. He knew, he had some great connections up there. So now you've seen my show. You saw me talk to that guy that was allegedly a Kardashian. And by the way, Howard Stern's ex-producer wants to do my show now because of that. So
awesome.
Well, we'll see about that. I don't know. He did text me, but he never returned the text that I sent him. So, and plus we've heard some really, uncouth stuff about him, and that's fine too. We don't mind a little uncouthness, but we still got to maintain sort of not a G level, but I mean, I'd have to prep him before if he was going to do the show with me anyway. But in the meantime, we're focusing on you. So as you know, what I do with every guest is I try to, regardless of whether they're here or with me or at a Zoom location, is I just profile them specifically, try to find out what they were like as kids, ask a million questions, and then you answer as many as you can. If you want me to slow down, you tell me, and I will. So tell me about yourself. Where did you grow up? How did you get into this line? It looks like it's pretty, you got a pretty good deal going on there. It looks like you're sitting in the back of a pawn shop there with a lot of cool stuff. So tell me how it got started for you. Where did you grow up, and what were you like as a kid? What did you aspire to, and how did it get you where you're at now?
I was hoping you would ask that. So I was actually born a poor black child. No,
okay.
I was a mistake in more than one way. So my siblings are much older than I am.
Okay.
I was not planned. And when my mother became pregnant, they were excited about it. And then I was born club-footed. Do you know what that is?
Oh, yeah. One of your guys told me about that. Well, what do you got, like a web foot or something?
No. So both of my ankles were turned in so that the bottoms of my feet were facing each other.
Okay.
And so because of that, I had many surgeries as a baby and had braces and things in order to be able to walk and run and do all the things that you could do. And it's interesting because as a child, no one ridiculed me for being club-footed. It wasn't until I became an adult and admitted that I was club-footed as a child that people started ridiculing me about that. And now that's something that a lot of people have a lot of laughs about.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, that is pretty good. Everybody has their own deal. It's interesting you should say that. I was actually born with a right foot that pointed in the wrong direction too. And
really?
The doctor suggested they do surgery, but my parents said no. and my foot's doing just fine, and no one was the wiser. Although when I did used to go for 10-mile jogs when I was a younger guy, and oftentimes that would lead to, corns on my left side, and I think that was of the right foot, and I think that might have been the reason. But we got through that. Okay, well, when you were,
Can I ask you a question on that? So if your feet are pointing at noon on the clock, where was your right foot pointing when you were born?
Probably a little closer to 11 than noon.
Okay.
Well, so what time of day you're talking about?
Not like 6 o'clock. I got it. Okay.
Oh, not that bad. No, that's Gumby.
Yeah, right.
Well, all right. So, well, when you were telling people, they didn't start making fun of you until you told them about it, or did you show them too?
No, I didn't show them too. I didn't have to. So I'm fine now. I can walk fine and everything. Actually, growing up, I was a skateboarder and I played guitar because I saw Back to the Future, and I knew that was what cool people did. They played guitar and skateboarded.
At the same time?
No, not at the same time.
Oh, okay. You're really talented, but that's fine. If you could probably practice and get that down.
I probably could, yeah.
Yeah, you probably could. All right.
So,
well,
really, I wanted to be a rock star. I was playing in punk rock bands and stuff. So that was like my main thing.
Okay.
Podcasting and broadcasting.
All right. Well, so how did you convert the music into a podcast? At some point, something must have happened. You must have had a conversion somewhere along the line. So please explain that if you would.
Sure. So actually, I'm a man of many hobbies. I wasn't able to convert music into podcasting. What I did was I worked a real job like a schmuck for a long time.
Okay. I've worked many real jobs like a schmuck.
I wanted to ask you about that because I know you're a very creative guy. So I was curious, but I'll tell you, I'll just finish this thought. So I had a career, and then outside of my career, I was in bands and I started podcasting as a hobby on the weekends. And it just so turned out that the podcast kind of took off a little bit and started making enough money that I was able to quit my day job and go into that full time.
Sweet. Okay. And that's where you're at now. And how long ago did this epiphany occur for you, for your life, for your work?
I started the podcast in 2016. In 2020, in the midst of the lockdown, the pandemic, whatever you want to call it,
right,
is when I decided to leave my company. I was a partner at a digital marketing agency. I decided to do that and try to do the podcasting thing full time as everyone was locked down and miserable. So
yeah, I understand. So you're doing right. Okay. But now you're finally, you've reached the top of the hot chocolate glass, and and the foam is all around you, and you're feeling the sweet rush of success coming in.
Harrison, I'm like a marshmallow in hot Coke.
You're a marshmallow, right? That's what
I floated right up to the top of it. I can see the light. Yes,
yeah, we made it. We made the metaphor come true together.
We made it happen. We're a good team.
All right. Well, but you sound pretty. You still have that musical talent. You got that guitar. I thought you were going to accompany my music when you were playing the thing, warming up. But I guess you chose not to.
I couldn't hear your music. I don't know what the issue is.
Oh, I didn't know that. All right. Okay. Well, if you can't hear it at the end, you don't have to do it then either. But I want you to know I was very impressed with that. You obviously got the song down, and that's great. All right.
Your song. I'm a huge fan of Topic Time, and I love the theme song. It's great.
Yeah, the theme song. Well, that was, just so you know, that was given to me by the guys that I had my show at for the first location, which was Marshfield, Massachusetts. And I know you have the clip from that first show, and that was, it took me, believe it or not, as great as the Topic Time is now, it took me 8 years before I finally found the locations where I really feel at home. Here I do at Area 58, Easton I feel at home, and in Wareham as well. And I even have a backup guy called Big Willie. He's a rapper, and he's got his own YouTube set up in his apartment complex in the town of Rockland, Mass, which used to be a shoe factory called the Emerson Shoe Loft. And on any occasion when any of the other TV stations can't do my show, I can always call him, and he'll do it for me. So
can I ask you a question about that?
What's that?
Are you actually on television? I know it's a public access.
Yeah, I'm on television, and I'm right here in Area 58. It covers 3 towns: Carver, Plimpton, and Halifax, Massachusetts. They're real towns. They're not make believe. Like when you check me out on ECAT, that's real too.
So when you do those underwriters, those are underwriters for the public access?
Yeah.
And I was curious about that because if it's on TV, it goes by so fast, it's hard to get the phone numbers and the addresses.
But therein lies the kicker, because people like the show so much that they watch it over and over again, and if they see that, and I know I go by fast, but believe me when I tell you, the underwriters are very happy that that they're covering the show. They know how great it is around here, And then we're always getting more all the time. And that's, and I know it's a little, I mean, I'm unorthodox. I don't do anything the straight and narrow way, even though I am straight and narrow.
I love that about you. And I was going to say, like, a lot of people would give out the website address.
Right. You don't bother with the website I mean, first of all, a website is one thing. A physical location is where it's at. Let's face it. No matter how advanced we are in technology, whatever a business is, you got to be there, or you're not going to get the advantage of doing whatever transaction you want to do. Unless you order something online, and even then, you have to physically collect it somewhere.
Kind of true. So you talk about your style, and I think it is very unique. I'm wondering, who's your inspiration? What talk show hosts do you look up to or aspire to?
Yeah, when I was a kid, I used to watch Merv Griffin in the afternoons between the two Leave It to Beaver episodes they give us back in the 60s. I don't know if you were alive then, but I'm 60s. Right, I'm 63, and I've seen a lot of TV talk shows. Then, now Merv Griffin passed away, and then in the late 60s, early 70s, Dick Cavett, total class act. Love his style. He's still with us. He's about my mother's age. My mother's 86. He never busts chops or anything. I like that. I don't either. I mean, Sean Hannity has a great style of busting chops, for instance. I think I admire him now, but I would never emulate his style, because I want people to be happy that they were on my show. I want them to say, "Hey, I enjoyed being on his show. He isn't an a-hole." You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fine.
Right. So, I try to be, in my real life, I can be, but not when I'm doing my show. When I'm doing my show, I want to be loved.
You're professional. And so you're kind of old school. I like that, because not a lot of people are doing that. You remind me of a young David Letterman. Before he was on 11:30, when he was doing the 12:30 thing, because it's an unorthodox style that you bring to the show.
Yeah, I remember when Letterman started. In fact, it was 1982, so it was 41 years ago.
Yes, very good. Yeah.
He had a lot more hair. Well, he still has a lot of hair, but it's like, he had that old white fro back in those days. Jimmy Kimmel was my cousin's boyfriend for 7 years. Sarah Silverman, she is my cousin.
Yeah, you've mentioned that before. So how close are you in relation? Because cousin can mean a lot of things. Are you talking about like
her grandmother and my grandfather were siblings, and they both grew up in Brockton, Mass, where I grew up, and I'm still living in Brockton, Mass. And Brockton is considered, like, I'm like 40 minutes from, it's from like 40 minutes from here. It's called an area called Metro South, which is south of Boston, but it's not on the water. It used to be considered part of the South Shore, but they kind of redesignated it. The people that named the state of Massachusetts are doing it. I don't know if you've ever even been to Massachusetts, but if you were, it's as far as like getting around here, it's as topsy-turvy as you can get. You can be on Route 3 going south toward Boston, even though the next thing you know, you're going north, because you have to take a fork in the road to get to where you want to go. If you're not from around here and you try driving it, it'll make you nuts until you learn that stuff.
I have to say, it's very obvious that you're from Boston.
Oh, I know the dialect. I love the dialect. It sounds.
I do too.
I love it anyway.
Why doesn't your cousin have the same accent that you have?
Because she grew up in Bedford, New Hampshire, and she's been living in Hollywood probably more than half her life now.
I've reviewed her show before. I don't know if you watch it anymore, but it's not funny anymore.
It's not. I agree with you. It's not funny. She's too political. That's why I never get political on my show. I never talk. If somebody wants to talk politics, and I have had politicians on. I actually had a guy a couple of years ago, right here at Area 58. He came all the way down from the part of Massachusetts, which is known as I believe the 4th district, which is central Massachusetts. It's about 60 something miles from here. It's like halfway to the New York state line, kind of near where you are. And he came all the way down here. He was running for state rep. He talked about how he was trying to get rid of sex trafficking among the immigrants, which, okay. I mean, I'm delighted he came down here and did my show. He was an openly gay guy. He had a husband and children, and I have no problem with that. Live and let live, I say. So come on and discuss your deal. It's no problem. I don't mind having politicians on. I actually think some of them are pretty good. They don't have this, as long as you don't trash talk. And, but if they do, I say, you have a right to express your opinion. I don't have to agree with it. I'm just going to be neutral and sit back and let you say what you have to say. But most of the guests I have are in entertainment, like you.
Right.
But I've had some different kind of guests too. I had a water vendor on once. I needed a guest in the pinch, and he was available. His sister has a golf show, and that was at my first location. But what I'm saying is, it took me like 8 years to really feel at home at the TV stations where I'm at now. I wasn't feeling. I felt the staffs of the first 3 stations where I did the show were good. I felt the townspeople liked the show more than the staff did. I think now that's changed. I think I've honed my skills enough, and I've gotten good enough to get, I'm good enough to get new people every week, which I really love being able to do. It's pretty impressive that I can do that. I'm on Facebook. I reach out to the world, literally. Now that we're on Zoom, we can go anywhere.
No, honestly, perseverance, I think, is the message here.
Oh, absolutely.
Stuck with it and you kept going. It took you 8 years. It took me a few years before.
13 years. Now I'm in my 13th year too. It's crazy.
It's all about sticking to it until it happens for you. Now, in your very early episodes, I saw in like a cubicle and you were doing the show. It looked like from your work.
What it was, that the deal was there. See, here's the thing. That's the one thing about what I learned since I started the show is that every TV station has a different deal. For instance, at the first station, that was Marshfield. They only had two, at the time when I started the show there, they only had 2 people on staff, and they had about 40 people that had shows. They were supposed to bring their own volunteers in to do all the tech stuff. I didn't have any volunteers. I had nothing. So what I basically did was sat in the control room. That was the control room you saw.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. Because I thought maybe like you were at work and you said, okay, turn on the TV and I'll do a show now. That wasn't
that was their control room. And the funny thing is that at that first location, the phone rang and there was only one phone number for the 3 departments of the show. There was the control room where I was doing the show. There was the studio where I only did one show in the 4 years that I was there because I had some people helping me. And there was the office. Now, I'm just to let you know, I don't know if you know this, I got started in Topic Time because a year earlier I was doing I was helping out on a sports talk show on a local radio station, and a guy that was good friends with the host was talking to me one day, and he goes, "Hey, you really know your sports? How'd you like to be my co-host on my sports talk show around at the TV station around the corner?" And I said, "Really? Sure. You don't have to ask me twice." But the night that I was supposed to start, he called in and said, "Host the show yourself. I can't make it in." I said, "How am I going to do that?" He goes, "You can handle it." And I did pretty well. But he was a temperamental guy. He ended up kind of throwing me off the staff after the summer of 2009. But for the next year, I debated with myself, hey, I did okay by myself. Maybe I can start my own show. And then I just sort of weighed the pros and cons. And then finally, on August 18th of 2010, I just sat down and I just called them and said, "Hey, guys, do you have an opening for a time slot?" And they said, "Sure, come on in at 5 o'clock on Wednesday." Next thing I know, I'm doing the show by myself. But then I got on Facebook. It's 2010 rolled into 2011. Started reaching out to people everywhere and made nearly 5,000 Facebook friends. And now, getting guests from all over the country and the world because of Zoom. And also people that do the show are always telling other people, you got to do this guy's show. And it's not easy. And not everybody feels that way. I mean, only a small percentage of I have to admit humbly that only a small percentage of the people I reach out to actually do the show. But because I reach out to so many, it looks like it's the opposite. It looks like tons of people are just not, lining up at my door. But that's the. You're
making me so desperate, Harrison. Come on, don't say that. It's a numbers game, though, right? You got to ask out girls. If 3 of them say yes, you got 3 girlfriends. I get it. I understand.
No, that's true. I mean, but I'm saying, I'm not worried about. I mean, there used to be a time when I'd worry that I wouldn't have a guest for any given day. I'm not worried about that anymore because there are enough people that want to do the show now that I could get somebody at the last minute if I had to. And
well, I remember that first episode you were doing a call-in show before you had guests.
We were going live, right? And the ironic thing is that the guy that called in for that one caller was Joe O'Neill. He was the guy that sports show I was on the year before, and he didn't even know he was on my show. He didn't even know I started a show. He called in to talk to the boss, but because the phone rang in the control room where I was doing my show, I go, "Joe, you're not going to believe it. I just started my own TV show, and you're on with me." So we had like a 20-minute discussion. It was great, and so then I was there for the first 4 years. Then I took the show to my second location, Raynham, for 3 years. That's another Massachusetts town, about half the distance to Brockton, where I live. And then in Bridgewater for the year from 2017 to 2018. And it was 2018 that I finally I decided to do 2 shows a week. And that's when I decided to branch out and try to get it in more than one location. And that's how it's been going since then. And then in 2020, when the virus hit, we went into hiatus for 4 months. I call that the virus hiatus. That's what I call it. We came back, and then they decided that here at Carver that Area 58, that it would be safer for me to only come do 1 show a week, or 1 show every other week, rather. I still managed to do my show in Easton every week, but I got it into one of the other towns. I did it there for a while. Then after 3 months, I came back here. Then on Veterans Day of 2020, I knew I wanted to do 2 shows, but these public access stations always close on these single day holidays. So I shopped it around. I got it into Wareham, and they were great. In 2021, a couple of people on staff here at Area 58 tested positive for the virus, and Wareham had my back. I managed to do 1 show a week there for the next 3 months until I came back here. and I'm still doing shows in Wareham as well. So those are my 3 regular TV station locations, and I never felt more, more. I don't want to say worship, but appreciated, I guess you could say, by all these people here. And I couldn't do what I do without them.
I want to tell you, so it's perseverance and also consistency.
Yeah, that's definitely.
You got to do it every single week. You got to do it a couple of times a week. I have a question for you. Have you ever seen Between Two Ferns with Zach Galifianakis?
Is that a film?
Oh, it's actually like a web series. It's similar to.
No, I have not. I have not seen it. No.
I would recommend that you check that out. I think you'd appreciate that. It seems like it's based on maybe your show. I could be wrong.
Yeah, well, he seems like he seems like reminds you of my show.
Yeah, I think he's tipping the cap to you on his show.
I see what you mean. Well, tell me about. Listen, I want to know about the people. Now, you have a pretty big. Are you affiliated at all with any of the Well, I thought you were talking about Stuttering John during that profile of me. Are you affiliated with them? Any of the Howard Stern people?
I am not affiliated with anyone. We are an independent podcast.
Okay. All right. But I'm just wondering if you've ever, because somebody was mentioning Stuttering John over and over again during that profile of my show. And I thought, but you don't really know him, right?
Well, it's interesting. We've mostly communicated through cease and desists.
Okay.
And like that. John's not really happy with the things that I do because I talk about his show and not in flattering terms like I do with you. So John's not happy. But I will say this, you just gave me an opportunity for a plug. We are doing an entire weekend of shows dedicated to Stuttering John Melendez from the Howard Stern Show. It's called TableCon. It's taking place February 3rd and 4th here in Rochester at the Comedy at the Carlson. And if you go to WATPlive.com, you can get tickets for that, get more information. We have a stand-up show that we're doing with Anthony Cumia from Opie and Anthony, Shuli Egar from
Opie and Anthony, right? So Opie and Anthony. That's a big deal. Yeah. Okay.
Yep. We got a lot of big names coming up for that. And then we're doing live podcasting on Saturday, February 4th. And then we have this thing called the Dabby Awards that evening of February 4th. So it's going to be a whole weekend of different events that we're doing.
Yeah, I noticed you posted that you plugged that during the profile of me too, and that's great. And that's coming up next month. And I'm glad there's nothing you can't overplug something that way, because that way people are going to remember you. Especially, I see you got quite a following yourself. You got 16,000 followers, 16 and a half, it looks like. And I'm hoping to get you more myself.
I hope so.
Yeah. All right. Well, so are you at your house there, or you're at a TV station, right?
I am in my basement. This is my basement that you're seeing. Yes.
So it is your home. That's great.
Yeah, it works out well.
It's the American dream come true in every sense of the word.
Oh, I can broadcast from my own house with nothing but a Wi-Fi signal. It's pretty amazing.
It is. Yeah. Okay. So as far as guests, do you interview people in your studio too, like I do here? I mean, or my other here, or I end up my other locations.
I don't do an interview style show at all. What we do is we do a review style show where we profile different podcasts or video shows on YouTube, and we tend to just put a review together. I have different guest hosts that either come over here or we join each other on StreamYard or Zoom, and they come on. But I'm not a good interviewer. It's not my style. It's not my forte.
You're a good chart buster, but not a good interviewer. I noticed that. Well, I mean, there's nothing wrong with, humor is the way they sell anything, basically. I mean, you were cracking us up doing that. You and those two daredevils of yours were doing a really fun job of, roasting me and the people. And I guess that's fine.
Harrison, you took it very well, and I commend you.
I loved it. I mean, you got to be able to laugh at yourself, no question about it. And I never try to take it too seriously. I mean, if you do that, it stops being fun, and then you don't want to do it anymore.
Well, also, people who take it too seriously, like Stuttering John Melendez, there's other examples too. It ends up ending up worse for them because they don't laugh along with it. And then a lot of people, start to join in on it and pile on. So you've handled it very well.
Well, okay, right. I try to.
Can I ask you a question? I just said I'm not an interviewer, but I have a question for you.
Go ahead.
The show that we broke down, you had on Nick Kardashian.
Right, supposedly. Yep.
Yeah. And what he said, and I thought this was an opportunity for you to kind of follow up with some questions. He said that his mother was Kris Jenner.
Yes, I know he was married to.
Right.
I don't say anything that might end up stopping an interview when it's tracks. You know what I'm saying? And I know you pointed that out, and it was funny as ever, obviously.
I'm just curious if, like, at the
Well,
time,
that's
you're
the
thinking, like,
reason. I didn't want to lose the interview. Obviously, everybody watching the interview would know what he might have been insinuating, or you were insinuating, or but I'm not, like I said, I don't bust chops. That's not my style.
you are a pro. Yes.
I argue if I could. Thank you. And Kyle, on that note, we're under 5 minutes now to go. So I hope this interview was worth it for you. I had a great time talking to you. You're a cool dude to talk to. I hope you think as much of me now as you did before, if not more so.
Harrison, I could do this all day. I love talking to you. And I want to say, you mentioned the upfront, Adam Thoreau was the one who brought us together.
Right.
And I just want to point out, while Adam did introduce me to your show, he did not pull the clips for me. I pull my own clips. So just my own prep work. But I know Adam's a great guy. I know you've been working with him on some projects.
Right.
Love Adam Thoreau. He's a great dude from your area.
The reason I thought he clipped, because he asked me for the clip from my first show when I sent it to him, because I have it on at the Easton website. And that's when I said, oh, you must have, and you mentioned his name. And I said, oh, you must have got everything from Adam. But I guess you found, yeah, I mean, it's nice to know that I'm so highly accessible that people can see me everywhere, basically on YouTube. All right. Well, now that we're down to the final 5 minutes, give a few shouts out to people that are going to see the show, and then we'll wrap it up the way we began it, as you know how it works. So go ahead, Kyle. You have the floor.
Right. Yeah, let me say hello to Cardiff Electric and El Horrible and Jenny Jingles and Trucker Andy, Adam Thoreau again, producer Chris, Vinny Paulina, Doug from Good Times Great Movies, Doug from Who's Right, Kaya Orson, Dick Masterson, and also whoarethese.com is where you can go to find more information about our show, as well as all the episodes, all the videos that we make. We have a Patreon, patreon.com/whoarethespodcasts. Sign up for bonus episodes. We do 2 a month, and also just support the show. It's nice of people to help support us.
Okay. Yeah, I dig it. I can dig it. Okay. Now what I'm going to ask is that, you've already mentioned what you got coming up on February 3rd and 4th. When we wrap the show up, would you mind sticking around and doing a picture for Facebook for posterity here? My Chris will take it, and then I'll post it to Facebook. I don't know. Are you on Facebook? I don't know if you're on Facebook with me or not. Are you?
I'm not. We should be, though. Will you accept my friend?
Well, that's up to you. That's up to you to maneuver when you want to. All right. Well, Kyle, I want to thank you so much. This is a legendary interview we just had. I expect we're going to get tons of views for it. If you have any people you want to send my way by Zoom or in person, I'd love to interview them. Preferably attractive women, obviously. I always say I try to enhance my ratings and my social life. I'm single as a shingle on a Pringle, so that would definitely be nice to meet somebody like that. But that would be great. So, are you ready to wrap the show up the way we began it?
Let's do it.
All right, folks. First Topic Time show of 2023 is in the books. See you next time. Have a good one. Bye-bye.